Yes, my friends, welcome back. 3 big stories today. Finally, we announced the signing of Nicolas Jackson before July 1st. Today, AC Milan announced the signing of Loftus-Cheek, and Charlie Webster is heading to Heerenveen on loan for next season. So, I'm not gonna lie, shout out to the barber. Of course, I got the haircut in time, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling hella bummy over these past 2 weeks. I kind of feel like I look like a different human being when I have a haircut. But anyway, why am I making this about me again? I know it's my channel, my rules, but my friends, now with the announcement of Jackson, I feel like we can get more hopeful now in terms of the business we do going forward now. And I feel like there's going to be big responsibility placed on these owners to make sure they conduct the best possible business to get us challenging for a Champions League spot for next season. So share your thoughts and opinions, hit that like button. And before we get into anything, today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. Make sure you guys download OneFootball to stay up to date to all the players that I'm set to talk about in today's video. Check their stats out using OneFootball as well too. But if you guys want to stay in the loop with all things transfer news right now, this app is going to be your savior, yeah? As you guys can see on screen, follow Chelsea, get curated news around our football club. And as we're seeing right here, Luis Enrique of Paris Saint-Germain is already targeting Joao Felix. Wow. Of course, Lukaku, is he going to go to Saudi Arabia, or will he find negotiations with Inter Milan? And Levi Colwill wants assurances about his Chelsea future before he commits with us. So my friends, there are a few small examples of what OneFootball can offer you. You'll find a link below in the description and in the QR code on screen too. So right now, let's head to the club's official website to read the first words and quotes from our new signing this window in Nicolas Jackson. As it says, Chelsea are pleased to announce the signing of Jackson from Spanish side Villarreal. The Senegalese international has signed on an 8-year contract following a breakout 22-23 campaign in which he scored 12 goals. Now, here's what Stewart and Winsley have to say. We are excited to welcome Nicolas to Chelsea. He is a young player with big potential. As he showcased for Villarreal last season, we believe he is ready for this next step in his career and look forward to him working with our new head coach, Mauricio Pochettino, and his new teammates. Now, I'm not going to lie, Jackson's looking very nice and blue. I feel like it definitely suits him. It's a nice combination. We get a bit more facts. Born in Gambia, Jackson spent most of his childhood in Senegal and represents the country at an international level as well too. Of course, Villarreal were the first club to give him an introduction into European life. And of course, he had his breakout season with them last season. Now, my friends, as we remember, this month is really key, of course, in terms of player sales, because we need to make sure that our accounting books for this financial year ends on like significant higher numbers, and sales definitely help, especially when a lot of homegrown players have been sold. In the case of Mason Mount, that's going to be 55 million in terms of pure accounting profit, which means that we have a bit more flexibility now to start spending big money on signings from next month onwards, giving these guys long-term contracts as well too. Now, as we do know, FFP laws do kick into place now. We can't be amortizing deals over 8 years straight, but we can still offer long-term contracts. We just have a limit now of 5 years. That is the limit we can go to, of course, to amortize deals over time. So it's not too bad. It could be a lot worse. And it explains, really re-emphasizes the fact why we are selling so many players in such a quick amount of time. Now, how do I feel about the signing? Obviously, I'm excited. You've heard my thoughts and opinions. You've probably seen my reaction video on him. And if you haven't, you guys, watch it. Inform yourself on his game so you can form your own opinions behind what you can expect from him from next season. But I do think in terms of this like complete forward profile we're going for, he makes a lot of sense. You know, we need a striker that can do more than just rely upon service. We've been signing service-reliant strikers for too long, and is it any surprise that if we can't service them, these guys end up doing nada for us? I do think Jackson's ability to drift wide, to open himself up in the channels, to run in behind, and of course his dribbling success rate, his take on success rate, his carry success rate, yeah? He's not wasteful in these wide areas. As we've seen, he can cross with his left foot and his right foot. He can find teammates making runs inside the box. And this gives him more of a variety. This gives him more dimensions, in my opinion. And I like that type of stuff. Of course, he can back into opponents. Of course, he can spearhead attacks as well too. I think he has to improve with his heading ability. But, I mean, let's give this guy a break. He hasn't played over 200 games in his career yet. He's got a lot of time to improve with us too. But I kind of feel like this is the type of striker that an Nkunku and others want to play off. Enzo Fernandez can play balls over the top, incredible diagonal balls, we've seen them, and he can find Jackson, who is of course ready and alert to make those runs in behind. But let's not forget, this guy is not the complete article, but what I'm stressing is that in terms of what he can do right now, there's a lot that he does right. There's not many things that he can't do. The only thing that he has to do right now is to improve on all the things he's already good at. Like, he can be a lot more defter in terms of losing his marker. He can be a lot more alert in terms of getting ready to like run in behind and attack the spaces, like to be a step ahead of the play. But that doesn't come overnight. That won't come in one season. And it gets me thinking right now, of course we know that we're still in the market to look at a potential big name forwards on top of signings like Jackson, and on top of giving guys like Broja opportunities throughout pre-season. It's going to be hard. I feel the club are going to do their very best to make it happen. Favourites right now, Lautaro Martinez, Osimhen, etc, etc. But we can't forget this too, you know, with Jackson, Broja and Nkunku, who can also play up front. You know, Nkunku is like such a complete football player that we can't really typecast him in terms of, okay, he's only good playing this role, that position, that position. No. Give him areas of the pitch to influence the game in. Give him that left channel. That's where he wants to be, yeah? And I feel like we do have forwards that should give us that ability to kind of survive without needing to sign a striker for 120 million or 100 million. I kind of feel like to sign the striker you really need, you need to make sure that you're paying great attention. You need to make sure that there's no doubts at all. But you have to be ready. And if it's a safer thing to wait for the next season's window, of course, from the 24-25 season, then so be it. Because if Broja, Jackson and Nkunku can't help us get goals in this team, if the rest of the midfield players can't chip in to get involved, the wingers like Madueke, Sterling, Mudryk, if these guys can't help us get goals, and my God, under Pochettino too, we're absolutely finished. So I think we have to be a bit savvy now. We have to be careful, and let's see how these guys perform during pre-season first. I don't think we have to rush in right now to quickly sign a striker. Prioritize midfield, prioritize other areas. I think we might even need 2 midfield players to keep things real with you guys. Let's focus on what we need, and then right near the end, when we've got a bit of a feel behind how these guys are performing, if they're ready of course to help us challenge for a Champions League spot, then let's see what we can do up front here. So, how do you guys feel about this news? Share your thoughts and opinions. Are you excited about Nicolas Jackson? Do you have some reservations? Or are you liking the promise you're seeing in this kid right now? So right now, my friends, let's discuss the quick news surrounding Charlie Webster, who is now set to be signing for Heerenveen on loan in the Eredivisie League. Now, I'm happy with this. I was fearful at one point that Webster was going to leave us, and I kind of feel like with talents like this, like unexplored talents, I want to keep these guys here for at least 2 years to assess how they compete playing professional men's games football, right? And I kind of feel like if Webster has a great season at Heerenveen, of course, Heerenveen are really excited to work with him. They like his books qualities. I feel like Webster is a very taking midfield player. He's very good with both feet. There's not many guys I've seen that are that good on either foot. The guy's striking from range is really good. I feel like as he grows more physically, he could be a bit more dominant in terms of how he's like really running midfield more. But I think going into the Dutch league is a great education for you to like, you know, get used to life as a pro football player. Like many of our guys, like your Mounts, your Brojas, etc, etc, you know, they went to Vitesse. They had great seasons there. They really announced themselves in that league, and they came back with even greater confidence. And I feel like this is the right career path for Charlie, especially when Heerenveen really want to keep this guy. They really want to use him, and hopefully this implies he is getting a ton of minutes, because this kid does have talent. And if he performs big in the Eredivisie, maybe then for his second loan spell, and I know I'm getting too carried away. He's not even played one game for these guys yet, but with our multi-club network model, could that then be a future move to Ligue 1, playing for Strasbourg? Could there be other clubs that we've acquired during that time, like maybe Real Reve and many others? But I feel like within our network, if Webster's going from Holland to France, playing in Ligue 1, after having a great season, fingers crossed in Holland, then honestly, the sky's the limit, and then we can really assess what this guy can really do for us. Anyway, my friends, I recommend you guys watch this Webster video on the club's website. I think it's a really insightful view in terms of like the life of like our Cobham grads and what they have to go through. And of course, you guys get to understand the player a bit more now. So again, good luck to Webster. Glad we've kept this guy. And of course, let's end things by discussing AC Milan announcing the signing of Loftus-Cheek on a 4-year deal. Of course, guaranteed fee of 60 million euros plus 4 million in add-ons, which will be like hopefully around 17 million over time. You know, I still feel like we could have got a bit more money. I think 25 million was more than fair, but considering the fact that we had to sell a lot of guys, we've made it known to Ruben that he was kind of surplus requirements, wouldn't get as much game time. And you know what? I think this is an amazing opportunity for this guy to really announce himself in the new league and hopefully try and win a spot in next year's England squad for the Euros. But of course, you have to hope for big things. But yeah, I can't believe, you know, the journey of so many of these Cobham guys is coming to an end right now, especially guys that been around for such a long time, played a big part in our success, were always available, always ready, always put in quality when called upon as well too. Yeah, I feel like now that this has been announced, I can finally do my Loftus-Cheek reaction video, which I was going to do regardless of how many likes I got for that last video. I shouldn't have lied, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you guys was expecting me to do this regardless, to be fair with you. But yeah, I feel like Ruben's gone to the right club. We've seen how Giroud, Tomori, I can't say Bakayoko unfortunately, but we've seen how they've been able to like revitalize their careers, you know, be able to like achieve their potential in the case of Tomori, right? And of course, seeing familiar faces, that's going to ease his integration into life in Milan. And you're not going to lie, for a guy like this, being in Italy, being in Milan, listen, you know, the life of a football player, it's like a movie. Let's keep things real. It's an absolute movie. He's going to have a great time there, I can imagine. And it was nice to see the club, you know, shed a few little tears, I guess, because Ruben's leaving. And yeah, I don't think he leaves here a failure. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I kind of feel like people can be a bit harsh in the sense of course, that trajectory and the potential he had during that 18-19 season. The guy was going to the moon, right? We were seeing that for ourselves. We were witnessing that. But he has to get credit for how he came back. I mean, the amount of muscle mass he lost on his leg. And then once he gained that back, you're not really playing football at all for a year. I feel like when he had that loan spell at Fulham, people were incredibly harsh. Not only was Scott Parker clueless in terms of how to use their midfield. Like, how can you have Anguissa, who's one of the best mids in Serie A, and Loftus-Cheek, and you're not even finding a way to like get this midfield playing? That's how you know the managers in this league can be dead sometimes. But you know, he got a lot of stick for that. And I think people didn't realize that he needed to be in an environment where, you know, we have too many ambitions per season to give him that game time. But playing for a Fulham, you know, that's going to give you the opportunity to come back in the team. And of course, he came back the following season under Thomas Tuchel. Was very impressed by him, impressed by his physicality. And it was Tuchel who kind of like revamped his game. He was like, Ruben, I like some of your physical qualities, your composure on the ball, how you shield it, and how you win aerial balls as well too, you know. For my pivot system, I'm going to try and transform you now to suit that type of style. And I think Ruben deserves a lot of credit for not being like one-dimensional. You know, back when he was young, he was criticized for doing nothing off the ball, for being poor defensively. He could only attack. And under Tuchel, I feel like he learned even more about the game. He became a more like varied player. And again, we saw his impacts playing as a wing-back. Games versus Southampton, Real Madrid, Spurs as well too. You know, we saw his games in the Champions League. He did his thing when he was called upon, and he never made the team weaker. But in my opinion, being a fan of the player, and you guys know this, him playing with Theo Hernandez on the left and Leao, but he has a license to get forward because Benacer will drop a bit deeper. For me, this is like okay salvation, and I feel like a lot of us are going to watch AC Milan, especially that left-hand side, because boy, I think they're going to absolutely cook. And if they use Ruben properly, yeah, wow, this is one of the potential bargains of this window already. So my friends, they're the latest stories today. Share your thoughts and opinions. I'm going to have a big boy video out tomorrow talking about our midfield and guys that need to replace Mason Mount. So I think you guys will definitely like that. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. Catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.